A tiny teacher lived inside Jack's backpack. She had just poked her head out when her bottom was nearly squashed and a big lump of chewing gum was stuck in her hair. Before she could catch her breath, a sudden urge to pee hit her hard. She rushed around looking for a toilet, but the toilet was too tall. She couldn't climb up. With no other choice, she crouched by the door and looked around. That's when she spotted a potted plant nearby. She had no choice but to go right there. Just as she sighed in relief, a man picked up the plant and accidentally spilled the water and dirt all over himself. The next morning, Jack opened his eyes and saw the tiny teacher standing right in front of him. He jumped up in shock. The teacher shouted angrily that she was starving. Jack quickly took her to the kitchen to prepare a big breakfast. But just as he finished spreading the cream, his dad suddenly walked in. In a panic, Jack threw the teacher onto the cream and placed a slice of bread on top, making a human sandwich. Since it was his first time cooking, his dad actually wanted to take a bite. Jack stopped him just in time. He packed up the sandwich and ran out the door. The teacher was covered in cream. She shouted angrily that she would get her revenge. Jack snapped and threw her into a trash bin, but a few steps later, he saw a sanitation worker collecting the garbage. He ran back and pulled her out. At school, Jack cleaned her clothes and dried them with a hairdryer, but she kept nagging and he couldn't take it anymore. He tied her up and stuffed her into his pencil case. That day happened to be exam day, and he planned to have her help him cheat, but Jack's classmate Mike grew suspicious. He thought Jack was hiding a phone. He threatened Jack to hand over the answers. Not long after the exam results were released, Jack scored a 3, while Mike got a flat 0. It turned out the teacher never meant to help them cheat. In fact, she had set them up on purpose. Mike thought Jack set him up and stormed over to search Jack's bag. At first, Mike thought she was just a toy, but when he saw how much Jack cared about her, he chose to stay silent and quietly took her home. The teacher tried to sneak out for fresh air, but got caught again. When Mike realized it was her who ruined his exam, his face darkened. He gave her a hard time and finally got his revenge.